Hey family, how is everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. I wanted to travel with you all. I'm sitting here listening to one of Brother Panic's old lectures from like 2 years ago. I've listened to it once before, but I was half asleep, and I'm listening to it the second time, and I'm just like, the family needs to hear this. So make sure that y'all go and follow Brother Panic. Go subscribe to his channel. Um, I think it's called. Here, let me see. Is it Hidden Occult Knowledge? 1 second, family. Let's see. Occult Lectures. Occult Lectures. That's the name of his page. So y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to Occult Lectures. But yeah, well, let's just go ahead and get into this video. And I will be pausing through and through, especially as people come in. I will be greeting you all as you come through the building. So appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure y'all get y'all weed, look, y'all wine, whatever you need. Let's take this trip with me. Hopefully the sound is good. Let's go ahead.
Someone like me who would sit there and say this, that, and the other, because they felt it was a secret and it can only be shared, and people weren't ready for that. What I found is you could tell them the greatest myth.
Hey Terrell. Peace, guy. How you doing? We about to listen to a Brother Panic lecture. This is part one, actually. Detailed instructions on how to die. That's how he worded it. So I know he's talking about dying to the flesh and awakening to the spirit realm. So let's dive on in. Dive in. Get your blunts. Get your water. Get whatever you need.
Like I'm about to do now. If their spirit isn't ready for it, they haven't heard it anyway. So a small percentage will still make it out of this situation now because of the other rope that you have around you called your human mentality. You cannot escape with a human mentality. So all these deep conscious niggas that I meet who try to come up with a business plan, that's great, and I understand the necessity, even though you're doing a fucking bad job of it. Ultimately, you're creating these ropes that bind you for true power. And that's an understanding I can't convince you of. That's an understanding you have to find on your own. Therefore, no matter what I say, though you may have an intellectual understanding of it, you have a spiritual and emotional connection here. You still have a I want to do something for Black people mentality. Therefore, that's what's going to bind you to this place. That's what makes your heart heavier than a feather. Why my heart is lighter than a feather? Because I'm being, in this judgment process in death, what's being weighed is the ropes or the emotion or the baggage that I hold based upon my commitment to this place, whether it's successful commitments or the fucking idea of what I want to be. Either way, that becomes your baggage that makes your heart heavier than a feather. Therefore, there's nothing I can say, there's nothing anyone can say to make you get this. This is something you have to feel because you truly went through enough lifetimes to say, I've done the thing. And we've been here long enough to have done the thing. But what you have is a bunch of old ass, done this shit before ass niggas who don't know how to move forward. They can't move forward with these groups that we're in. In the end, the best that the group has to offer, even if all the plans work, is still a life on earth with the possibility of it becoming what it has become. And it's guaranteed to do that because the earth moves in cyclic patterns. It's all a circle. It's all going to come around. So it will come around to the glory of the pyramid days called the Golden Age, which we are here now. That's what we're going to talk about. And we came out of the Iron Age, or what they call the Kali Yuga. Fucked up. Kali Yuga is the ultimate in humanity, the Iron Age. It is the age of disorder, confusion, and I don't need to explain. The death of this place is now. Well, the death of this yuga, let me say. Well, first, we're going to start here. This picture fell off my wall. When a picture falls off the wall, that's the spirit talking to you. This.
Oh,
and as you can see, it cracked when it fell.
His Kali Yuga picture fell off. His Kali. And it shattered. Wow.
This was a spiritual indication that Kali Yuga is over. Or let me say another spiritual indication that Kali Yuga is over. My Kali picture broke and fell. We have entered a golden age since Beetlejuice, and we're going to get into it today hard. It's going to be a lot of reading.
I remember he said in some previous lectures, well, some more recent technically, because this is from 2 years ago, he said that he did a breakdown on the Beetlejuice movie, which I would love to hear. I have yet to find it online, but when I find it, family, ooh, honey, I want to hear that. He did a breakdown on The Wizard of Oz, and that thing was powerful. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Occult Lectures, okay?
All right. So let me also say this. This is the time now more than ever for this kind of energy. And you're going to see that why. You're going to see the Kamites understood it, and this is only comedic shit as well. Blank.
The Baphomet is what he pulled out.
Baphomet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start here. Let's see if there's anything else. First, I want to shout out, as I said, the ancestors. Let's put this on here in the back. Oh, all right. Well, you can go here. And you can go here. How about that? All right. Baphomet. So, in 2004, we're going to get into it. This lecture is very important. This is very important for this reason.
Peace, Goddess. Welcome in.
Because
how you
one of the
doing?
greatest mysteries and the greatest question I've ever been asked constantly over and over, no matter what demographic, no matter what state, what context from day one, panic. What happens when you die? Or the statement, which is the same question, just in the reverse, panic, I don't want to come back again, which is another way of saying what to do when you die. Or people says, when they ask what happens when you die, you get that answer, oh, we're all connected. Nirvana, it's your mind.
Appreciate
you don't really
you,
get a
sis.
detailed thing.
Thank you for coming.
There is a detailed thing. The Egyptians, Kamites, knew a detailed thing. They had detailed information and detailed instructions.
Okay, this is the last time I'm gonna stop the video, family. I just want to say this real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and let the video just ride out, and I'm gonna hang out with y'all in the comment section. Okay, so anybody that comes in or wants to talk, I'm right here in the comment section. All right, let's get back into it. This is my last time pausing to the end. Oh, and this is a 6 hour lecture, y'all. So we just gonna roll until spirit is like stop, and then we'll finish the lecture another stream. Okay, all right. I'm shutting up now.
What to do when you die. The problem is, this was taken from us. So when you hear this famous story, they raided the Library of Alexandria, burned it, and they did this in the mystery system. They didn't steal information on irrigation and how to grow bananas on certain kind of soil, because farmers shared that information. The whole study was how you got down here and how you get out. White people have stolen that information from us. Boom, facts. And they created a climate that's not conducive for you to know that anymore or to hold that information anymore. They made you stupid while they have your information, your science, but the problem is our science is based upon our genetics, and they do not have the genetics to pull off the afterlife task that leads you into the quantum reality of everlasting life. We have that. We've earned that. They have not. They have a lot of work to do. They have to first become niggas before they can even get into the real conversation. So here's what's interesting about this mystery, and now I have it, which means you'll have it before this is over. This is a done deal. I'm about to reveal to you the mysteries of death and the instructions on what to do when you die, so your ass can get out of here and never come back. So, we're going to get into this right now, because I'm feeling kind of funky. I don't even need candy no more, but I got the urge. That means the spirit is in the room, people. All right. This time is over. We are now in the golden age. Listen. First, 2004, Bobby Hemmitt told me about a book. This is his words. Look here, Panic Man. Look. This is something you got to get. What's up? It's a book called The Isis Thesis, a study decoding 870 ancient Egyptian signs. All right, whatever. He said, but whoa. All of these Egyptian books out here are the same information, just regurgitated. Different authors' interpretations of the same shit. He said, every once in a while, they have to put out some of the breakthrough information that they stole, because they're stuck. So when they put out a little bit more information to the general public, presented in a context where only the scholars, so-called white scholars, will look at it, how they condition the nigga, or how they think they condition the nigga. When we see this, it's too much. Then we go to see Spot run, while they are the magnificence of Bachakitcha, dropping into atmospheric RNA, DNA convergence, and you're like, you know what I'm saying? Turn it up, nigga. I'd rather be turned up. But as long as you that guy, they can hide information under the banner of intellectual shit. So that's what this particular author, Judy K. King, either did it by accident or on purpose. And either way she goes, I'm gonna show you how this is ours. So, you need to get this, Panic. Every once in a while, they drop some information that's breakthrough. This is that book. And I can tell already, he wasn't going to read the whole book. He would read, dissect it, get what he needed, and so on and so forth. I was a whole book reader. And even when he would recommend, yo, man, just use that as a reference book. I'm going to read this shit. Just read it for it. Now my eyes are shot. But I learned a lot to get him shot. And what he said was this, too. He said, the information in this book is such a fucking revelation, such a breakthrough. I'm not so sure she's the author. What they do is one of them societies that has this information, passed down from a stolen legacy from us, is releasing it through her to make it seem like an author's doing this. That's possible. This book, 2004, along with a companion book, The Road from Orion, Judy K. King, this little book explains this book. That's how complicated and intellectually aggressive this book is. She needed a storybook as companion to explain it. I remember recommending the book in the early 2000s, and this lady took me off her friends list. How dare you give me some shit? In 2004, this was released. 11 years later, she releases another book, Balls of Fire. Balls of Fire, she did a 1-hour lecture on to promote. Judy K. King. Look for it. It's the only one up on YouTube. And she will explain in this book a little bit more detail of a portion that she revealed in this book. So this book goes into more detail of a very important aspect that she brings up here. And you will get it. And she is, in this book, is all about the process, the alchemical process that happens during death. We're going to get into it. First, so that left me with either one or two things. And mind you, Bobby also said, which came to pass. He said they did that for the chick who wrote Harry Potter. And mind you, this is in 2004. These movies and shit is still going on. They're still dropping books at the time. He said this bitch was not a school teacher that just decided to write a funky story called Harry Potter with all this occult shit in it. He said, no go. He said that's coming from a secret society, some group of people, and they're funneling it through her. They said the Anne Rice shit the same thing. That's why she's so easy to be Christian now. But this is 10 years ago when she changed to Christian. So Red Pill told me the other day that the author of Harry Potter was talking some dumb shit online, and people started saying, wait a minute, that don't even sound right. Are you sure you wrote Harry Potter? So there's book burnings and all sorts of protests of people now saying, bitch, you ain't write that shit. Same way those guys didn't write The Matrix. So things are given because they have to make it seem like it's a breakthrough happening. They can't let you know for a moment that we had it all figured out, done, and already got the t-shirt. They have to make Black people under the mind control that we're moving someplace, that we have another place to go, that Obama is a breakthrough. Voting is somehow saving you. Things like this would all fall apart, and I can name a laundry list of things that would fall apart if they knew, if we knew, we already secrets of life and death while we're here, and so on and such. Then it will redefine our relationship with this planet. But they need us to have a dependency relationship, because the true science is they have the dependency relationship on us. So they have to fool us into believing we have a dependency on them. For instance, now as we move out of the Kali Yuga into the golden age of the Satya Yuga, whatever it's called, they don't know what to do. They have no idea what we will become. So, and I'll get into the detail. So all they just told you, stay in the house, wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, and keep washing off a bacteria that they think, I don't even want to give it away, because we're going to get into what bacteria is. In 2004, we're going to see in this book, she was talking about Betelgeuse and what Betelgeuse means when it's supernovas. What do you know? And as soon as it's supernovas, you get this reaction. She talks about, which is, when I'm going to stop saying she talks about, because this is a we talk about. So one or two things. It's either coming from a secret society funneled through her about information, or if she somehow figured and decoded our information, because it's already our information, that means our ancestors gave it to her to get to us, and it is at us, and to get to you. So either way, if she authored this and found the code and added it, because what I've seen, and you will see, all the familiar icons, symbols, and meta symbols of Kamite, we know, but there's a code missing. Anybody who's done a real study, you know they're saying shit, but you don't know what they mean really. And most of what I see, they apply it to human things. What she was able to do is connect it to, listen, the quantum world, the cellular world, the viral and bacterial world. And I may be missing something. But she's able to connect these microscopic landscape, this quantum landscape, with the Egyptian symbols, and understanding the true transformation into the afterlife, into the quantum world from this atomic world. This is powerful information with detailed instructions we about to get into. All right? So, again, it's either from this woman, because our ancestors took that ass over. And let me explain. In 2004, I picked up the book and read to about page 125. I did not grasp the total, full understanding. I talked about this book for years, and some of you may have gotten it because the little concepts I was able to grasp, I was able to regurgitate and told people, see how far you get with it. But Baba Kalindi, I don't know why I'm calling him Baba Kalindi. Maybe because everybody else calls him Baba Kalindi. So Baba Kalindi, I don't know if he was called that. I don't know. He's an ancestor now. And he came through. And it's surprising because, to be quite honest, I don't think he was a fan of mine. You know what I'm saying? But what I do know is these spirits, they don't hold grudges, human grudges. And me understanding this spiritually, whatever grudge I may have had with this brother for silly reasons, that doesn't mean nothing. So when his spirit came, it was well received in his house. It was a little stunning so quickly, but nevertheless, he must be some form of Obachala that cleared a blockage in my head for me, and I could read this book like fucking the cat in the hat. Every fucking page, I don't know if you can see it, is fucking highlighted. You understand what I'm saying? So we got a lot of work to do. I damn near could read this whole fucking book to you as much as now I can decode it. And this book is the detailed instructions on what to do when you die. Everyone should have one. That white pasty lady who wrote this shit should thank me. Oh, it's very clear, and we're going to get into it. White people can't get out. You can't get out. You can't get out. And I'm going to prove that shit. Now I understand the genius of why we made them. Because it made this place such a debauchery. It would push you naturally to want to not come back. Consciousness is at an all-time high because of whiting. Trump is the representation of the death of the Kali Yuga. That's why you see the best of what the white man is personified in that animal that they call him president. It's personified because it's the death now of that white man, of that. He's the essence of the ignorance. He is the essence of the result of every nigger suffering, every dark person suffering. Cats, rats, pigs, chickens are oppressed. Broccoli is not in favor with these motherfuckers. Everything can't stand this virus. So why would we make it on an island at all? I understand it. We needed to make a vessel. So when we leave, that vessel can stay here, and it will, based upon genetics. I was on the fence. I thought maybe they can get out. Maybe black people come as white people, and maybe we do. But in the end, what you are genetically only matters at the death moment. So you could come here as white, green, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But if you were only white, you can't elevate up. There's ways for them to elevate up. Mitchell Gibson talked about it. And I didn't get it then. I got it, but I didn't really pay attention as hard then. But it started to make sense. He said, if grass is eaten by an animal, that grass is able to come back as an antelope, then, or a zebra. Then that zebra gets eaten by a lion. That zebra who got eaten is now to come back as a lion. And let's pretend if a man eats that lion or eats that vegetable or eats that zebra, it's able to come back as a man. He also said your pets are able to come back as humans if they were in your household and they were loved. So she talks about this, and the Egyptians talked about it, is horizontal gene transfer. Horizontal gene transfer. It's like your genes, they said in the microbiology world, it's the equivalent of sex. So how, and this is passed through, I want you to hear this, virus and bacteria. So now we're also gonna get into why they got you wearing a fucking mask. So virus and bacteria, this horizontal gene transfer happens through light. Keep Beetlejuice in mind. All right, and keep why they have the mask on. Okay, so where are we? So shout out to Baba Kalindi for coming through and clearing a blockage in the mind. The brother is very powerful, no doubt. Because he came through like a motherfucker, karate kicking, doing all of this shit. So he was doing all this calm shit, and I think he was just showing me that we were calm. You get what I'm saying? I'm with it, you know what I'm saying? I don't play that not speaking shit. Let's go. So he came through, I could feel him blocking us. That's no box a lot of shit. And then when I picked up this almost impossible book, let me tell you, 2004, picked it up. Like I said, got a little part. I tried to pick it up every year and just kept putting it down. I just always knew I had to deal with this information. Not even to be a lecturer for me, because that's how important, that's what this is all about. You can't tell me nothing now. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me nothing now. Now I am absolutely clear on our Egyptian shit. And I knew I would find it. I knew I would find it. I know why I came here. I never will be stuck here. Never. I came here to unstick. So this is why this is happening, and we are all in this together. We are all doing this together. I just said Baba Kalindi, who, like I said, me and him really didn't speak much. In fact, I would like to shout his whole family out, and I'm with you. If I know they don't know me, but if ever you need anything that I can do, please don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. I did meet one of his daughters online. She was very nice. This was in the early 2000s. She actually shouted me out, "Hey, brother Panic, time to time I listen to you, blah, 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 blah." I said, "Okay, blah, 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 blah." She was just a very nice, very respectable young lady. I'm sorry I don't know her name, but all of his family, all his daughters, very beautiful, very nice seeing people. A few of his daughters, I used to see their activity online. Very intelligent, knew their shit. He taught them well, I could see. And they were, the daughter I met, very well mannered. So I would like to shout them out and like to say, once again, Baba Kalindi came through. He's in the house. We pouring liquor to him. I gotta figure out, what else he likes. I'll get it. You know what I'm saying? And, well, I hear him now. He said, put out some mushrooms. I got you. No big deal. Okay, ayahuasca. He wants the heavy stuff. Man, he got you. Ooh. In fact, I don't know if that person wants to be put on blast. But this would be for Baba Kalindi. Ooh, some drugs. Ooh, this is funky. You know who gave this to me? And he's done Red Pill, because I forgot he's done stuff on camera, so I don't think it's a secret. So Red Pill came and blessed the nigga with some shrooms, little marijuana. So I'm gonna cut some of this up, give it to Baba Kalindi, who broke through, and because of Baba Kalindi, or partly because of Baba Kalindi, to be honest, we're getting this mystery. You understand? We're getting this mystery. All right. So again, it's a lot of reading, and we're going to break through on this. So this is called the Isis Thesis, a study in decoding 870 Egyptian signs by Judy K. King. Now, everything is hiding. So, again, I'm going to try to take what she has as intellectual concepts that may take you a while to muddle through. I'm not saying you're stupid and can't figure it out yourself. Perhaps you will. Not saying you can't muddle through, but I'm trying to give it to you quick and easy in lecture form. And then after you hear me going through this, when you read it, it'll be an easier read. Let me get some shit to clean my glasses. Oh, hey. Oh, get up ready. All right, here we go. You see, got my Baphometic shorts. Come on, son. We popped out today. All right, okay. Of course, I don't have a cloth to clean these motherfuckers. All right, give me 1 second, niggas. All right. We about to get in it. On it and in it. I'm going to talk about the mask and all the rest of that crap too, the bacteria. Watch the Judy K. King lecture. It's pretty much a lecture from 4 years ago when she was promoting this book. And she talks about the importance of bacteria and viruses to the DNA and the death experience. In this book, she talks about, I'm not gonna burst that, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Y'all should be excited. Baphomet. All right. So, Egypt's confusing funerary texts. So, funerary texts. All the writings of Egypt, of the dead pharaohs and the tombs, are collectively called the funerary texts. And there's a few of them, we'll name the list. So Egypt's confusing funerary text demonstrates an advanced knowledge of 21st century quantum physics, molecular biology, space physics, bacterial genetics, and supramolecular chemistry. So 20th century shit, molecular astrophysics, and all that fly shit that they acting like is new, she's telling you in the first opening statement of the book, the Kemites already knew it. So that means Neil deGrasse Tyson and all the rest of these guys, whether they're conscious of it or not, are only walking in the footsteps or retracing something that we've already done. The ones you are laughing at, called woke people, let me even rephrase that, because woke is the pop version of consciousness, and consciousness had to do more than anyway, if you're going to call it a people in a way. Let me say this, consciousness was only because the grouping that was coming together early on didn't want to name itself. So consciousness was a description of the collective, not what you were and now you're in whatever. So consciousness meant he was just aware. He's not walking around with his head in the sand. Can he be stupid and conscious? Absolutely. Can he be saying some ridiculous shit and be conscious? Absolutely. But just saying that conscious didn't mean you were one thing or another. The only one thing you can say, it just meant you wasn't like the masses of dead motherfuckers. So it was dead or woke. And then the awoke aspect became this woke thing. Woke is what is not a studied person per se. It's just a person saying all the buzzwords that now, out of how consciousness has expanded into this buzzword, into this possible fad, that it has a fad name, woke. Little kids want to be woke because they say Black Lives Matter is a fucked up movement. He's woke. That's nothing to do with what this is. And anybody in front of you who's come from the conscious community saying woke and we woke now, woke, they're trying to jump on a fad type thing. They're trying to gain more viewers using a word that's more relatable to the dummy. So a conscious person who's well studied ain't got nothing to do with woke, because the concept is supposed to be the same, but what you did was create a new word that you could take down the road. Listen, that's a American method or American war tactic. Here's what made sense to me. I probably told you the story, but it goes well here. 1996, I'm working at a record label, White Boys. There was one white, fat, 400-pound dude, 300-pound dude, you didn't know how he operated, only had 2 or 3 shirts. I heard him talking about this guy one time about eating all meat. This was the African guy. he was saying you eat your body eats glucose. Everything you do, your body's a glucose manufacturing machine, and that comes from carbohydrates. So all of these are what you call refined carbohydrates, made up. And eating as much as I will today, I would have eaten too much. So much so, that's what the pancreas goes into insulin, and too much of doing that, diabetes, you know the story. But before you get there, all of this extra glucose that I eat from refined carbs it tells my body, oh, I must be about to hibernate. That's why I'm eating so much carbs. That's turning to glucose, all this extra energy. I'll save it for later. And that's why the body creates fat. And by the way, these are called complex carbohydrates. When this sugar hits your system, it hits your system much slower. Therefore, you don't get the carbohydrate rise. You do with this is a high sugar complex carb. So it's tomatoes. So with that concept, if you eat high protein foods, or foods high in fat, no carbs, the body says, okay, I don't have carbs to burn my glucose. Oh, that's why I stored the fat, to burn the fat. Okay, I'll burn the fat. You know what I'm saying? That's what I made it for. No glucose, fat burning. So the more protein you eat, the more aggressive your body becomes at eating its own fat for fuel. Boom, makes sense. Then he gives a whole laundry list of all the diseases it cures. Diabetes, all these case studies. He said losing weight is actually a side effect of this Atkins diet. Okay, that's the concept. 2 weeks you do it, then you get a little bit more complex carbs and this and that. But 2 weeks you're on the strict high fat diet. And at the time, I didn't eat most meat. I only ate chicken, so it becomes real boring. You're not supposed to eat any sauce. So you raw dog and chicken, no other side meal, no bread, no carbs. A little bit of vegetables, green vegetables, complex carbs, don't hit you slow. So there's nuts and things you could do, blah, blah, blah. After 2 weeks, I lost so much weight. I lost the same amount of weight that it took me a year to lose on rollerblades and biking. And I went to zero body fat in 93 or 4. In front of the mirror naked, doing shit like this. Great. I was very close in 2 weeks. I was real pissed. No exercise, everything. So during the 90s, when I cared about the shit, I would just do Atkins, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. I just got tired of it. But what I seen, which was very interesting, was the popularity of this diet started to explode. And what I noticed when I went to the supermarket, about 90% of the supermarket was off limits, which means so much unnecessary shit. And we got that every buy. And so if everyone did it this way, devastate the economy. As he tells you, you don't need to exercise. Remember, that's the mainstay of America, exercise. We think that's what it is. Like LA Fitness during this whole pandemic has still been charging me $80 a month. I mean, I could stop it any time, but ain't nobody going to them fucking gyms. They could pretty much say, we're going to tone this down to no, because that's America. That's what we become, and dependent on this. So what I seen them do to end Atkins was not, they first tried to destroy you, you get heart attacks, all that meat. First thing I noticed is I started eating even less meat than I did when I was eating meat in a regular meal. I was eating like 3 wings and I was done, because you're burning fat, which is much more heartier. So I'm eating 3 wings, maybe a little bit, not in 3 meals, just 3, 4 wings. I'll be done. Hours later, 3, 4 more wings. and you couldn't help it. You didn't want anything else. It was great. So, all right. So now I started to notice they made it a fad. Entenmann's made a low carb cake. Breyers made a low carb ice cream, which is still sold. There became all these low carb candies, chocolate, and you shit, Twinkies and shit, low carb. They made it a low carb fad, and they told you about it. There was chocolate, sugar-free shit everywhere. And I remember this specifically as one who went on Atkins and off in Atkins. So when I first started, there was nothing. Like I said, it was more dog and chicken. Then when I got more, I started seeing there was more and more options over the year. Then I seen the regular diet places started having low carb diet options. So after all Entenmann's went away, all low carb bread went away, and I said, oh, people got with it, stopped talking about it, instead of trying to kill this dude, which they did. They talked about him every moment. He fell, 70-something-year-old man fell. They tried to say he had a heart attack. He went to the hospital for heart trouble, but he had some other heart issue, but the propaganda, all that meat, all that fat, non-exercising, to this old man. When they died, he died of a heart attack. All of this was wrong. So I seen, because I read the book, the facts of the book, and then the American propaganda, once they made it popular. To make it popular is the path for destroying it. People always need to move on. So if they take what you have that was sacred and put it in the mainstream, which is what they've been trying to do for the longest, we are powerful when we're underground because we seem, or it seems like when the alternative or when the regular is moving, if an alternative comes up, it brings dignity and truth to what you're doing. It brings authenticity. When it's on mainstream television, it is no longer authentic. It is now shaped and molded for a presentation. And that presentation is what they're counting on. Because if they can make that presentation a fad, then that's exactly what it becomes. Something that comes and goes. So the growing movement of true consciousness that is happening, that people who are now reporting to me, oh, they know you, Brother Panic. Some brother was telling me, Kumo D was telling him about me. She admitted to me, that's incredible. I don't give a shit about anything. Kumo D knows my name? To me, personally, I mean, in the study, my ego doesn't come into it. Good. He should hear this shit. But on a personal level, as a hero, a young rap enthusiast, who bought Enjoy Records, Feel the Heartbeat, the Body Rock, that fast shit, always rocking the other side of everything. Kumo D. Know what I'm saying? Kumo D is the inventor of fast rap, nigga. He's the first one to ever do it. So for Mohandas D to even know I exist is a big deal for me on a personal level. And while we're there, and I know we're going to get to it. I haven't talked for a while, so if this type of banter bothers you, oh, fuck you, just forward and get your answer. But you will get a thorough answer today. 2 days. But if Kumo D knows who I am, to me, that's a big deal. So if this thing becomes the fad that it's becoming, it becomes empty-ended and now defined. So the real guys, it won't work like me and the other brothers who are dishing the real shit teaching. They become idiots. They become old. The story they're telling is now old, even though it's the most important thing a lot of folks could hear who's seeking transformation. They'll psychologically think what we're saying is some old shit. Like how one day Run DMC was popular. Now, if I came talking that, if I made a song like that, she was the wind the other day, you would say that's old. It already happened. That nigga sound like an old man. It's like that, and I'm panic. You'll be like, oh, this nigga is old. That fad already happened. So woke is the government's attempt to fadize disinformation. And any nigga from our clique talking that woke shit, that's on you. Do as thou will, but that's on you. So, for lack of a better word, this is for true consciousness, which, like I said, that word was never a favorite of anybody's anyway. Woke is just worse. So, but those who really want to learn, those who really want to know the mystery, you get what I'm saying? Just remember, quite simply, without any more speech, just keep the fucking integrity. You understand what I'm saying? Keep the integrity. Also, I want to shout out my sister, Kiana. I guess we get all this stuff out of the way before we get into it. Shout out my sister, Kiana Brown, Lee. She called me. She took my class 10 years ago. She's always been a friend. She's fine. So you guys better watch it. She called me and told me her daughter is dating a rapper. What's his name? Something with the chopper shit. NP with a chopper. But what she told me was...
Not AP with a chopper.
He's conscious. Not woke. Conscious. She told me was, Panic, he's really on it. And I know her for years. She wouldn't call me unless she's seen something. She wouldn't even bother me. But she says she's been answering his questions, but she thinks he needs some brother Panic in his life. I went, well, it's interesting. I said, if he's tweeting shit, you want to be careful with that. I just got finished. Shout out to B.O.B., my brother. Love him forever, dearly. One of the greatest souls I've ever encountered on the planet. Much integrity, much heart. Truly has it. Real talk. I can't say enough good things about meeting this brother, knowing this brother, hanging with this brother. He's truly made me feel my youth again, just with hours and hours of laughter over dumb shit on YouTube, dumb humans. He always has a funny thing to say. My man's in there. But as you know, he got into some heat doing exactly that, posting conscious statements. And see, the thing with that is, if you say like Black lives don't matter, should eat all your vegetables, blah, 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 as you keep moving on, and then you're going to see a lot of reactions. Know why? Because it's popular to be woke. So all this fad, when you're doing this, even though in your heart, these are discoveries. You got to remember, you're not tweeting from here, controlling people. You're tweeting from here when you do that. Because it's kind of like, oh shit, glasses solution, then you tweeting. Oh shit, a mouse, then you tweeting. So you're tweeting as you discover. You may discover something like the earth is flat, and you tweet that. then you'll find how valuable woke is. That's when you see you've challenged people's belief system and their psychological well-being. And that's when they'll turn on you. So in your woke tweets, I'm not talking to anybody in particular. I don't know the Chopper guy. So I'm just saying in general, because I don't want to make it seem like it's directed towards him. Do as thou wilt. Show you an example of what woke will do, though. And show you the example based upon what my brother B.O.B. went through. So this is not new. A rapper texting conscious shit, where it leads. So once B.O.B. texts that, and by the way, ultimately, we did a podcast answering that because for a long time, people felt it wasn't answered. It is now answered. You can find that podcast online. Go to Bobcast on YouTube and find the podcast where me and him deal thoroughly with Neil deGrasse Tyson and that bullshit. The flat earth, the concept of consciousness, one of the best, I think, spewings, and B.O.B. for the first time deals with it all. I got him to talk about it. Nobody could. And after he kind of explained the scenario, once we did it together, the phone started ringing again. Publications started honoring and acknowledging him again, which is good for him in the business. But it's an uphill battle based upon tweeting woke shit from your heart, because he was really woke. So if Kiana is telling me this young cat is really woke, we're in the stage now. She ultimately said, when he comes out, I said, well, have him call me. When he comes out, I want him to meet you. And she could do that because she's come to the house hundreds of times. She's a family friend. Okay, because on the strength of her, if that's a thing, whatever. And long story short, I would, truthfully, in the end, after we have a conversation, the person I would introduce him to is B.O.B., a rapper senior of his who became conscious in the music business. He could tell you everything that can or possibly will happen. I've already talked to B.O.B., and he will talk to you if that's what you want. So if you come this way, I'm going to refer you that way as well. But if you want consciousness, I'll put it on your ass. So come on down, son, because I'm always glad to see a young nigga get his head together. I make motherfucking monsters. I'm not just saying I'm here and I'm a god. I make gods. So come see me. I'll show you how to get your dick sucked by the cosmos. That's real talk. So let's get into some of this. How to die and never come back, nigga. All right. I'll try to stay in here now. The science provided Egyptian pharaohs and nobility with answers to profound ontological questions, such as, who are we? Is there life after death? And how does our universe function? So this information was for nobility and pharaohs. So early on, even us, we kept this shit sacred for a reason. It can't turn into woke. Once it turns into a fad, once the masses have it and use it, it's dead. Why I'm giving it to you? Because I'm absolutely clear. Only the people who really fuck with me can hear this. The ones who's playing around, who like to entertain themselves watching shit like this, that's fine too. But I'm telling you, I can say to you, you're not going to get it. Or maybe you will. I hope you do. All right. So these are her idea strands. These are all references or Egyptian references that she's going to break down. Qualities of the deceased king. Note, you are, as this is all talking about your death. The moment you die, you are the deceased king. You're also the dead sun god. You are also becoming Osiris. Remember that. Directions to the path of eternity. She's going to give you directions on the path. Conquest of Apep. So this idea of fighting Apep in the underworld and getting swallowed, she's going to break that down. And mind you, let me say it again, like I said, she's going to break that down. What I really should be saying is she's going to interpret our shit. Ancestors either gave it to her or she's revealing shit they stole and she's representing some society dispersing this information. What they didn't know was the wrong nigga got a hold of it. This is typical shit niggas don't fuck with. I'm telling you. Just read it, nigga, you're gonna want to put it down. I'm giving you an aggressive reason to get into it. Baba Kalindi made me understand this shit like cat in a fucking hat. Importance of Isis, importance of thought. Deceased king has efflux. We talk about what the efflux is. You're gonna love this shit. Importance of Anubis, importance of Horus. Deceased king is the fourth god. Deceased king is the judge. Osiris risen. Mind you, you don't know what none of this shit means. It means you could say the importance of Anubis, but they talk about that in these funerary texts or the book of Coming Forth by Day. They talk about this shit, and you kind of know Isis does this, Isis is on the boat, Thoth does this, so you know he's describing writing, so you try to apply it in your logical sense of writing, but she's going to tell you what this, she's going to reveal what we knew. And it's not really surprising, but it's going to be very revealing. You see how excited I am about it. Bottom man. All right, deceased king reassembled. Deceased king embraces, ascends. Deceased king's new form. Deceased king's nourishment. Deceased king's clothing. The word or writings. Iron references. Cold water references. Turquoise references. Eating references, double references, beware of the lake, nets, heads, tails, vertices, feces, importance of Orion's winds in the heaven life. She's going to deal with all of these idea strands from the funerary text. So a summary of those idea strands, both the pyramid text and the coffin text exhibit similar idea strands that describes ancient Egypt's religion of science. So she's classifying ancient Egypt's religion was science. Religion was science. As I told you before, what white people did was separate religion and science. And those who have a more logical mind follow science, evolution, Neil deGrasse Tyson as their main preacher of the logical, explaining why we exist. Oh, it's just this and the Big Bang and that. You have no purpose. And then, once the Mandela effect happened and people were questioning the shape of the earth, The new propaganda was your assimilation and assimilation. He went on this rampage, assimilation, assimilation, assimilation. So if the assimilation is somebody created this, then how can we be from the Big Bang and evolution? That directly contradicts what NASA has been saying. Our origins are Big Bang, evolution, accident. So with that psychedelic mindset, evolution, Big Bang, it says, well, this is an accident. So the greatest thing in existence from this accident is me. Therefore, all I am is a human because I'm an accident and with no purpose. So as a human, all I can do is invest in humanity to be a better human. Eat all my spinach, live long, raise my kids, vote Democrat. So that's the Big Bang thing. So the contradiction is with Neil deGrasse Tyson, with assimilation, that's if somebody made it, somebody created you. So that contradicts the other way, but it doesn't. Because psychologically, if you feel that you're in assimilation, that means once you get out of this, you think you found your answer, you may get another simulation, and this shit may go on forever. You don't know. That's another way of saying, I have no purpose but what's here. Why look for assimilation, I do. So psychologically, he left you in the same place. So logically, while you say these sound like contradictions, the mind control that they lay down is the same thing. In the end, you don't mean anything. When you're conscious, you have purpose. This is purpose. You get it? So they separated religion and science, and then religion, we already know. That's for the mindset of believers. They'll tell you Jesus is coming back one day and he's doing all the good things for you. And each bad thing that happens, the devil's doing. I believe that. So there's people who have that mind and the scientific mind, and those things, belief, which is spirit, and logic, which is understanding of self, supposed to be married. That's what we do. That's not what woke is. Woke is saying the phrase of the day. Melanin, Kundalini, chakras, Hotep, beloved. That's the word of the day. That's woke. Consciousness is an inner journey. An inner journey. It really starts by studying because you were trained in logistics of a book. And then opening up this because your spirituality is getting strong. And then you learn from here. Even when you read, it enters here. When it enters, you start here because it's the ego, and you're going and raising the ego. The more you understand this, the more you do practices to give up humanity and start living in your true brain here. You understand what I'm saying? And some people come with a very powerful heart presence. Those are people who come from lifetimes who've done this work already. One of the presence that fills the room, my son can do that. That's why he's one of the only ones I let work selling the herb packs and so forth, because of his heart frequency. It dictates who he is. So this is what you're working on. So this science was the religion of you. Science is your religion. And all science that you could follow is today. If you're not studying the science of death and your role in the quantum reality, all other science is fucking pseudoscience. Y'all niggas like saying that? If you don't know this, all you have is pseudoscience. There's nothing wrong with it because you need it to fucking survive as a human. But true science, the true religion of science that the Cammite studied was the science of death. Because as you'll see, she says it in here, and she says it in Great Walls of Fire, where she deals with it more. She talks about the junk DNA being 98% of your DNA. That's so-called out of order and inactive. And 2% is actually what we're working on down here. When you die, that so-called junk DNA becomes active. And it is, listen closely, a library, as she points out in her lectures. In this lecture, the 1 hour lecture and the one and only lecture she has up on YouTube, she points out that when she studied the funerary text and studied the DNA because of it, what she found out was 98% about DNA is a library of viruses and bacteria. And I'm gonna get there. Oh, you gotta hear this shit. I'm bursting to tell you niggas. I'm excited. And I keep having sidebars because I haven't talked for a while. But there's a lot of information. We're gonna be here for a while. You're not gonna be able to get through this in one sitting. This is gonna be a lot of information. This has been the most asked question I have ever encountered. What to do when you die. How to die and not come back. Here we go.
Y'all ready?
So, the scientific concepts are embedded in a religious narrative. So, all the mythology is considered the religious narrative. And she's saying the concepts are embedded in there. We didn't have the key to decode the death code to all them pictures and stories that we knew. Because another layer to the mythology was death instructions. We needed the code. That's what was taken from us. That's what was ignorant. That's the information white stole and was able to start creating secret societies. So their nobility and their higher ups can get the death instructions. These celebrities pay for this death instructions. That's why they walk around so smug. Michael Jackson, Prince, all them niggas, you stupid if you think they had that type of money. And Prince was talking about chemtrails and other shit before he died. Mike was talking some conscious shit before he died, and reports that he knew more than that. Hey, this is me, Mike. That's all an act. Because I heard he was studying and buying shit that we couldn't get. What else would you do? You're the richest motherfucker. You want to say, well, I know I'm gonna die. Is there any information anywhere about this? And your money will get it. And they did. Now, as I pointed out earlier, look, your pet, as Mitchell Gibson said, you can eat something and reincarnate as what you were eaten as. Or the pet can reincarnate based upon love. So white people can change their genetics if a Negro loves them. That's their way out. They have to be able, in the afterlife, if they were truly sincere and serve that black man or black woman, to get in. I know this for a fact because, shout out to my Dukes, and just so you know, I get she's showing a little leg, my mama, but my father's in that picture, so my mother is not a thought.
I'm weak. Not a thought.
I think either a year or before I was born. So, my mother went through a lot of human trauma. So that's one of the best. It sits in my studio. Shout out to my mother, ancestor. Right now. So,
shout out to the ancestor.
How I know? My grandmother, my mom's mom, in 1973 or 4, left my grandfather in Queensbridge and got with a white man. Scandal. Now I'm young, so I know him to be my step grandfather. It didn't matter. It didn't mean nothing. And in hindsight, it wasn't the beast or the devil. In fact, him and my grandmother originally moved to Staten Island and some nice shit. Then him and my grandmother moved right across the water from us on Roosevelt Island. Anyone who knows New York two things. You've seen in New York, there's a red tram that goes adjacent to the 59th Street Bridge. It's going to Roosevelt Island. That was a big deal as a kid to ride that, to get to my grandmother's house. You truly was in Never Neverland. We were coming from Queens, we would take the bus over the bridge from that side, but she would always take us to Manhattan on the tram. Years later, they made a train, but this was the only way out. The Queens, over the bridge, the tram, over the water, wonderful experience. And so when they moved there, it was like Never Neverland. We lived in the projects right across, Never Neverland right across the bridge. It's magical. And this white man did white shit to make it magical for two young nigger kids. Like, he's this dude. He would take us outside to the park. Can we go barefooted? Yes. Yes. You know, niggas ain't. All this glass out here, you know, niggas ain't. Yes. That was a big deal. He let us play outside barefooted. Then he found out, for some reason, I don't even remember how, we liked Hi-C. He would stock the fridge with all sorts of Hi-C. The candy dish, to this day, I have a candy dish on my thing. Always a candy. He made the shit like heaven, to be quite honest. But in hindsight, what he did for my grandmother was no less than worship. He called her the princess. The princess this, princess that. He treated her grandkids like royalty. He was always good for $10 and $20 when we became teenagers. Always good to buy pizza. Me and my Negro friends, Dane and them will come over. Dane will tell you, Mr. O. Always Hi-C, always whatever, always a soda, always ice cream, always eggs and bacon, you know, nigga shit that we knew how to cook. And she was the princess, he worshipped her, and so on and so forth. He passed in early 80s. It was sad, you know. Felt a certain way, we knew it. I don't even know if we went to the funeral. I don't even know. I don't even think so. You know, we're still young. For whatever reason, I don't know. I never met his family. I don't know if they didn't like the, but I don't know the politics of it. We were too young. When my grandmother died, I didn't hear from her for a while. Then when she started coming, she was really glowing, very light. What the fuck is happening? And then eventually, maybe the third visit, she started telling me she's allowing Mr. O'Shea, this white man, to merge with her DNA. And this is how he actually gets into heaven. This is how white people get into heaven. They must join or do something which is really worship a black person, which is what he did. He worshiped the family. He made, in my memories, a more powerful childhood. He did that, this white man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking away from nothing. My father, mother, all of them was excellent at what they did as black people. My grandmother was magnificent at what she did. You understand what I'm saying? My grandfather, magnificent. But he did add, from a white perspective, they think differently. They didn't give the nigga whatever they asked for, and he did. That's a different experience from black folks. As much as my mother gave me what I wanted, it's more what you need. That's what black people are doing. You know, that's how much money we got. Different story. He merged with her, then when she crossed over, I could see him existing in her. Then he was able to come. He told me he wanted tobacco. He was a pipe smoker. Boom. Told me some other things. Boom. So I knew when I was in New York, they had a path, but only through us. Now I see why. God damn, we got a lot to do. All right, so the scientific concepts are embedded in religious narrative, detailing the afterlife adventures of the deceased, who desires eternity, transformation. In this magical process of recreation, so when you die, You want eternity, and you fail if you come back. You go through the cycle. Cycle is your heaven. So you're looking for eternity and transformation. What's the transformation? You are transforming out of the world of matter, atoms, into the quantum world of all potential energy, the chaos realm. Back to your true home, your connection to everything, your ability to process everything. Your DNA as panic is now injected into this new specimen built for eternal life. Whereas panic's consciousness and what he's learned down here is added to the database of the new me. Through transformation and recreation. The dead pharaoh or king, which is you, becomes a god. He does not die again. Or go upside down. We're going to explain, well, I'm going to explain, what upside down means. What we're going to get to is a chapter on it. And he is not seized by the earth gods. What are the earth gods? You've been calling them the demiurge. But there is a force or an energy that seeks to keep you in the circle. You're trapped here. Look at it as your soul was moving along, da-da-da-da-da, and these earth gods said, we're going to capture that energy, put it in a container, and feed off of it. We're going to put mechanisms in that container. These mechanisms will create elixirs based upon that energy's emotions. So we know this energy that we got in this container encapsulates a part of the universe. Therefore, is capable of manifesting anything in the universe, as above, so below, microcosm, macrocosm, which inside the expression in matter through the body. All we have to do as the earth gods is create scenarios for them to suffer from or find joy in, to create these elixirs called adrenaline and dopamines and pancreas juice. When your heart beats faster, you create shit in your thyroid. All of that are elixirs that go up into the ethers that the earth gods feed off of. The fight or flight instinct that you have, that most, which is probably the greatest delicacy, because most of the animals stay in fight or flight mode. A lion's always ready to eat that ass. In a deer zone, a zebra, they drink water like, nigga.
All right, family. We're going to go ahead and stop it here because the neighbors just turned their subs on, or whatever you call that shit. Look, they kicking it. So I'm going to go ahead and end it because I don't want it to drown out the sound. I thank y'all for coming. We will proceed. Hopefully later on it'll be a little quieter, but peace to the gods and goddesses. Until next time.